What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of our workflow. As you can see today, we made some good progress on the Chevelle over the week. Um, Thing looks sick with these wheels and stuff on it.
Got those 22 by 14s tucked up in there.
They're all 14.
Is it not a 14?
No, it's a 12.
It's a 12. I'm just living big.
Yeah, 22 by 12s. Man, they look super good. This is actually the ride height that we're going to build the car at and stuff. So, super excited about that. I mean, it looks absolutely phenomenal. So, start out, got the subframe connectors and everything finished, welded in the car, finished welding up all the lower torque boxes. I finished fabricating the upper torque boxes. And then, once we got all that done, we finished assembling the rear end and got the rear end mocked up in the car. Got it mocked up in there the best that we could. That way we could check all of our clearances on the wheel well, the tubs, and everything like that. Make sure everything's good, and that it's going to clear. It is pretty tight on the top side of the floor pan with the upper 4-link bars and stuff like that because it's still stock suspension and everything. But it all fits in there real nice. But man, it looks good. The next step that we have is, like I said, we got everything mocked up. We are going to be doing all the measurements for the 4-link bars and everything. So, as you can see, the rear end and everything looks freaking sick in this thing. This is going to be a super nice build. So, super excited with how this is turning out. We're actually waiting on some heim joints and stuff to show up. They're supposed to be here yesterday, but as always, UPS dropped the ball on that, or this thing would already have some 4-link bars in it. But get the 4-link bars made. Once we get those made, we'll actually get the rear end centered in the car, get it where we want to in the wheel well front to back, and then all that's left on it is getting the shock bar and everything made on it. So super excited with the way that this one's turned out. I can't wait to get this thing on the ground and see what it looks like on the ground. So anybody, I know people kind of like details of what all parts and stuff like that we're using. So this thing is mini tubbed. It's using a Detroit Speed mini tub kit. So it still has the stock appearance of a stock tub, but obviously it's much wider. So doing mini tubs isn't the easiest thing in the world. So doing these, we didn't do them. The customer had the guy that works for him do them, but he did a phenomenal job on them. But you actually cut the frame rail and everything on these cars. It moves it in, I believe, 2 to 2.5 inches. Then you reskin the frame rail. But got all that done, or he got all that done. But this thing is super tight. Like I said, it's not perfectly square in the car, but we only got about a finger width at most in between the tire and this outer quarter lip and stuff like that. It all spins and everything like it needs to, and then we've got probably maybe an inch to a half inch in the tightest spot on the wheel to the frame rail. So everything's super tight. Honestly, the tightest thing on this is going to be where the caliper backing plate and stuff is, and the mounting plate. Man, that caliper only maybe has a quarter inch in between it and the frame rail. So this whole ordeal is a very tight fit, but everything does fit, and it's going to be sick whenever it's done. So like I said, I'm excited to see it on the ground. And then only bad thing about once we get on the ground, it's not necessarily going to sit down in the front the way that it needs to, just because they don't have a motor and stuff in it. But we'll definitely get to see how the back of the car is going to look. But I mean, this tucked like it is, it's going to be a very sick look. So that's about all on that. Got anything else we need to add on this process?
No, nothing for this one.
No, this one's actually, I mean, it's done pretty good. Derek might be able to throw up some pictures of the torque boxes and stuff that we done and everything. But hopefully in next week's video, this thing will be on the ground. We can show you the rest of everything on it and have this thing going home for them to start putting the motor and everything in it. Move on down the line. I haven't done anything to the S10 this week, but 90% of our parts did come in. You see we got the elbow. I was just test fitting that stuff, but We got a buttload of parts in for this thing, so as soon as we wrap up on the Chevelle next week, I will be getting started on this and hopefully getting the ball rolling on this thing. Have the turbo mounted, start on the turbo kit, but try to finish one big project at a time so we ain't got a million different things going on. But yeah, like I said, all the parts showed up for it this week, and we'll get started back on this thing next week sometime. The Mustang, still waiting on some stuff on the Mustang, so it's just kind of been sitting here in limbo mode. But anybody that owns a shop knows that's how things go sometimes. So probably another week or so before we get started back on this thing. But we don't have a whole lot left on that. Now, me and Derek have been busting tail on this thing. As you can see, since this car got dropped off last Friday, we have knocked out a lot of work on this thing. As you can tell on the floor, I mean, this car was already cut up pretty good, but we have taken a lot of weight out of this car. I mean, there's a ton of weight that we've taken out, and there's going to be a good bit more of small stuff that we end up taking out. So, but we'll just kind of start in the front, go from there. As you can see, we went ahead and started doing all the tube work and everything on this front end. It's all tied into the main part of the cage, runs out. Strut towers are tied back into the upper front bar and everything, but there's still a good bit more that we're going to do. We'll end up trimming this lip down. This whole section will be coming out. There will be a bar that runs down through here and ties the upper and lower bar together. Then the strut tower will actually be stitch welded to that bar, and then the excess sheet metal here will get cut out. Then there will be a little outrigger that runs from here to the side of the strut tower. That will get welded in, finish up the patch panel that needs to go here. That way this is all smooth and everything. And then the rest of this, whatever we want to take out, will all get taken out. So that's about it. We put our caps and everything on here. I mean, it's turning out nice. We've got a lot done on this thing. So, like I said, we didn't do the cage and stuff inside this car. So as we've been working, you might notice there's blue tape all over on some spots of the cage, and all that is as we've been working, anytime we see a spot that's not fully welded or something needs to be fixed on one of the welds or something like that, we're notating it by putting blue tape on the car. That way we can get all that fixed as we're working. Biggest thing that has happened on the inside of the car is Derek has been cutting out the rest of the sheet metal. As you can see, we got the rest of the center and the lower or the back part of the floor pans. That's all cut out. The rear package tray is all cut out, and then all the excess tub and material on the insides of the quarter are cut out. So some of y'all might have questions about why we cut all this out. For one, this thing's going to be getting a full set of tubs, so we didn't need any of this, and plus it's a lot of extra weight. We will probably end up cutting out the rest of this sheet metal up through here, just because customer wants car as loud as it can, and this don't really do nothing. Once you have a car to this point, really all the body is just a shell that sits on top of the car. It has no structural purpose. It's just the skin that sits on there. So it don't really matter how much weight and stuff that what all we cut out of this thing. Obviously the body's still attached to the car. It's welded through the rockers to the cage. The torque boxes are welded. Since we cut all this structure out, we still got a lot of final trimming to do here, but we run these little stobs up to help hold this up. And really all that is to help support the weight of the window, which the window won't be heavy because I'm sure we're going to be running optic armor in this thing, and then just help hold the back side of this structure up. But I know some people might be like, well, the quarters are going to be floppy, but they won't be, because by the time you put the tubs in, get the tubs panel bonded to your quarters, that stiffens it up a lot. But then there'll also be, whenever we do the tin work and stuff in here, there'll usually be a wave plate or something right here, or we can run a little outrigger bar that runs from here and ties into this lower piece of the quarter, so that keeps all this strength up. We will be cutting out some more material down here like this, because it's not doing nothing. It gets covered up by the bumper, so we'll get that cut out. But still got a lot to do on this thing. We're making good progress. the next big step back here is, as you can see, Derek's made some outriggers that come from the main hoop and ties into the top of the torque boxes. We got to do some more outrigging and stuff like that to those because they don't really have any. They're not attached to the cage at all right now. So we'll get those welded in. These are Mirlat upper and lower torque boxes. So on his, it actually has a place that runs through the where your actual hymen stuff goes. As you can see, there's a hole in between there. That hole actually runs through the front side of that torque box and will allow us to run a bar all the way through there and then tie it to your main number 1 bar on the bottom side. So we'll do that too, get that all tied in together, and that way that torque box is in there and ain't going nowhere. The next big thing after that is we will be doing some more bar work that ties in the upper torque boxes to the cage. Don't know exactly how we're going to do that yet, but we're going to get the lowers done first. Then we'll start working on attaching the upper torque boxes, and then we're probably going to end up cutting that factory skin off of the frame rails, reboxing that in just to make it look a lot nicer and cleaner. Then once that's done, we will get the suspension back in here, get everything kind of mocked up where it needs to be. Once it's all mocked up, centered, side to side, front to back, we will then start working on the shock bar. Because like I said, the customer's going to be running a much taller shock than what the car was built for. So we'll get all that mocked up, get that shock bar in here, and then we'll finish out any bar work that we have on it. But then once all that's done, it's kind of to the nitty-gritty stuff of mounting seats, steering column, and all that jazz. But things coming along nice. Just we got a lot more work to do, but we got a lot knocked out this week, so I'm super happy with that. It's kind of it on everything in the shop. You got anything else to add, Derek?
No. I do have a little bit of time though to get the new t-shirt order in. So
yeah,
any last minute guys jump in, let us know what you want.
Yep, let us know. Like I said, you can email, text us, hit us up on social media if y'all want anything like that. But I'll probably be placing the order on Monday for shirts and stuff. But I will be ordering extra shirts if some of y'all are wondering what exactly they'll look like. So if you don't get one now, we will have some in stock that y'all can get. But oh yeah, Derek also got all the holes and stuff filled in on the firewall. There's still some more that we need to get filled in. Obviously, the master cylinders going here. We're going to be using one of the Lions Custom Motorsports master cylinder kits that goes up underneath the dash. And then we have our hole and everything for the steering column. So that's why we left those two. And then this one for his throttle linkage and everything. So I guess that's a wrap for this week. We've gotten a lot done. Been crazy busy as usual, but getting things knocked out. So super excited about that. But I guess that's a wrap. We'll hopefully next week we'll have some more good content for y'all with a Chevelle on the ground. Like I said, I'm super excited about seeing that. But y'all have a good weekend, and obviously it's going to rain as usual per the weekends. But y'all have a good weekend, and we'll catch y'all next week's episode. Thanks, guys.